It's hard to believe that it's been just shy of 15 years since Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were released in North America. I remember the feeling I had when I first popped Pearl into my DS. It was, yep, this is what the future looks like. If only my 8-year-old self could see what Pokemon games are like now. I think that he'd have a heart attack. If not from that, then it would be from all the frosted sugar cookies that I ate as a kid. Sword and Shield gave us glimpses of what an open-world Pokemon game could feel like, and with Legends Arceus around the corner, we will all know soon enough. However, ever since Generation 6 with the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, I've had this itch that the current games just didn't seem to scratch. Every game felt innovative, but with each edition I felt like there was something being subtracted. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were released 7 years ago. That's 7 years of longing for a Pokemon game to come in to capture the feeling playing them that I had as a kid. A game that felt innovative, but at the same time classic. One that would answer the age-old question, were the Pokemon games really difficult, or am I just getting older? As of November 19th, 2021, that 7-year wait has ended, because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are the remakes that we've been waiting for. These games feel like a welcoming return to form. Even before they came out, people were voicing their complaints about the art style and if they were going to include additions from Pokemon Platinum version as well. As far as the art style goes, it grew on me a lot. It is a little bit jarring at first seeing your character as tall as the desk in their room, but the balance between the overworld style versus how things look when you're fighting makes it more acceptable. The overworld models ended up looking cute and the in-battle ones look expressive and cool. By a couple hours in, things looked exactly how they should have. As far as if these games feel more like Platinum, they feel more like a Diamond and Pearl 1.5. There are some inclusions from Platinum, like an expanded Pokedex and certain teams that people have, but for the most part, these games feel like an updated Diamond and Pearl. The familiarity that these games have is satisfying for older fans like myself, but the little additions that weren't there in the originals satisfies both old and new fans alike. For instance, you can walk with your Pokemon. This only existed in the originals in a certain area, so it was very limited. But here you can walk with anyone that you want. This will help you build a relationship with your Pokemon that actually has effects in battle. Now, this is a mechanic that, while I enjoy, is actually super broken. If you have good relationships with your Pokemon, they will do things for you in battle, like land extra crits, cure its status, and even survive hits on 1 HP even if they have 1 HP. That is incredibly busted. Another example is that, just like in Sword and Shield, the XP share is always on and will always affect every member in your party. This is something that I feel like younger fans would really like, but as an older fan, I wish that I could turn it off. To help counterbalance this, for the first time ever, I changed the battle style to set so that I wouldn't be able to switch out on my opponent's turn. This did make the games more challenging, but I was surprised to find out that for the first time in a long time, I was tested by these games. On the first gym, I barely scraped by with a clutch save from my Kricketune of all things. Even with the XP share on, these games still offered a great challenge. I even had to go and grind once it came to Maylene's gym. I haven't had to grind in a Pokemon game since Generation 5. Speaking of Maylene, she is the hardest gym in this game, hands down. I don't remember her being this tough, but I am not kidding when I say that she swept my whole team with just her Lucario. That is fantastic. Later down the line with the Elite Four, the same thing happened. I had to keep throwing myself at them just to keep leveling my Pokemon until they were strong enough for them, and even then, they are no pushovers. You will definitely need to have a good team traveling in Sinnoh, and thankfully there are more options here than in the original games. The candidates for your team open up drastically when you start exploring the Grand Underground. It's like the Underground from the original games, but this time it's grand, and it's called that for a reason. There are these newly added Pokemon dens that have all kinds of different Pokemon to use. The ones that you can find here also scale to your level, so it will always be challenging capturing them and viable for you to use. I was able to find a Magby down here that I used for the rest of my playthrough and to burn Maylene's Lucario once and for all. You can also find useful items in the underground that will help you in your battles like leftovers and light clay, and on top of that you can make a secret base. Now, these bases are different from the ones in the original games. It sacrifices style and personality for use and practicality. You can no longer decorate your base with things that look cool but don't really do anything. Instead, you can fill your base up with these statues that increase your chances of finding that certain type of Pokemon in the underground. So if I had a hard time finding that Magby, I could place a couple of fire-type statues to increase my odds. It's very useful, but still I do wish that you could pimp out your secret base with decorations just like you could in the originals. Another new addition is the removal of HMs. Their use still exists, but you no longer have to sacrifice one of your Pokemon's moves to use them. Instead, they get allocated to the Pokétch, which now sits on the top right corner of the screen. The Pokétch is definitely more awkward just sitting up there, but its usefulness this time around, just with the HMs alone, is leagues better than what it was. It's funny though that a Bidoof and a Bibarel are the ones that do most of the HM work, which is a nice little callback to people using them as their HM mule back in the older games. Also, something that I'm pretty sure wasn't there before are the hints at the start of the screen that tell you where to go. It's nothing groundbreaking, but as I get older, I feel like the cold hand of dementia is creeping up on me, so it's nice to be reminded of where to go every now and then. Speaking of where to go, Sinnoh feels like one of the most explorative regions, and the ease of use when it comes to the HMs helps with that. There are places that feel hidden and secret like Fuego Ironworks and Turnback Cave, and help add to BDSP's amazing postgame. Once you defeat the Elite Four, so many new options get opened up for the player. Probably the most important is that tons of new Pokemon are able to be captured in routes that you've already been to. On top of that, there are the additional legendaries, new areas in the underground, and the newly added Romanus Park, which you can use to capture legendary Pokemon that weren't accessible in the originals. I also love that Romanus Park is where Pal Park used to be. I wondered what they were going to put there, and Romanus Park is a great replacement. It gives extra life to both Pokemon catching and the Grand Underground, which you need to mine mysterious shards to work towards getting those legendaries. Of course, who could forget the Battle Tower? I would rather have the Battle Frontier, but at this point I think it's safe to say that it will never be coming back. Still, the Battle Tower is a great way to get some fantastic items like the Ability Patch, which gives your Pokemon its hidden ability. If you want even more items, then the Battle Tower is a good way to invest your time. Another great feature that makes a return is the Pokey Radar that the player can use to hunt for the all-so-elusive shiny Pokemon. It's another viable way to grab one for yourself along with the Masuda method. Shiny hunting, in my opinion, has never been better, even though I've yet to get one. Something else that I love that hasn't been in a Pokemon game since Heart Gold and Soul Silver is the Sounds item. In those games it was the GB sounds, but here it's updated to the DS sounds. They both, however, do the same thing, which is to essentially play the old music and sounds as they were in the old games. It's a minor item, but one that I find super enjoyable, and I'm glad that it's here. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl stand out as must-haves for any fans of Pokemon. Their content and enjoyability leads me to believe that these are the best remakes since Heart Gold and Soul Silver. These games were developed by ILCA instead of Game Freak this time around, and they completely knocked it out of the park. If you've been waiting for a challenging Pokemon game that captures the feeling of the originals, then look no further. BDSP has contributed to Generation 8 being one of the best in Pokemon history. All I can say is that these games will be keeping me busy for a long time, and I'm confident that ILCA and Game Freak will keep the great Pokemon content coming. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. And also, please consider getting these great games. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!